Hello, Starshine. This is Smadar from Song of Stones, and I'm here with a really special group of crystals that I want to introduce you to. When I first encountered these crystals, well, first let me introduce myself for those who don't know who I am. I'm a crystal whisperer, which means that I talk to stones and they talk to me. And they share messages and insights and medicine and all sorts of amazing, delicious things, which I like to, I love to share with you. And I am really excited to share these guys with you for a couple of reasons. So first, let me tell you what they are. They are greenish. There's some that have more bluish. Fluorite crystals from Mexico. And when I first saw them at my suppliers, you have to understand, when I go into my suppliers, there is so many crystals there. And these guys just really drew me in. And you can't see it right now. And I don't even know if this particular, I don't know what to call it. I don't know if you'll see it again from these crystals, but they had this white, sugary kind of sprinkling on them. And I saw them the other day, so I'm not sure if it's the way the light hits them or if they've transformed or shifted, because crystals do that. And they can go back to their original, or they can stay in their new form. It depends. So when I first saw them, they reminded me of, if you remember those jelly candies that have that sugary coating on them, that's exactly what they reminded me of. Looking at them now, they don't look anything like that. But when I first saw them, that's what they look like. And I stood there and I hand selected the juiciest, most beautiful pieces for you guys to witness, to experience, and to receive their special medicine. And I'm going to get to what that is in a couple of minutes. So I brought them home, and they've been here for a while. And then they started singing to me a little while ago. And so I thought, okay, let me pull one of them out. And it was this one. This one does have that crystal kind of ish. It also has changed. And I thought, okay, I'll keep it next to me for a bit, and we'll see what it has to say for us, what message it wants to share for us. I was already starting to get part of it. And then when I pulled them out to, I think I was taking some pictures of them, but when I pulled them out, I started looking at them and I thought, wow, these guys really remind me of wine gums. I must need sugar or have candy on the brain, maybe. But I think it's really just the energy of the crystal, that candy-like energy. And there's a reason that I was getting that, and you'll see, it'll become clear. So these beautiful wine gum crystals, sparkle jelly kind of crystals, And they also look like Jell-O a little bit to me. Anyways, so what I was hearing from them was that they can help us to integrate when there's something that we want to hold in our life, something that we want to make a part of our routine, learn something new, a wisdom that we want to share, an energy that we want to feel, that we want to hold in our body. These guys came forward to help us to do that, to integrate, to gel, so to speak. So there's that Jell-O or jelly association coming in now. And so I had one near me at all times for a few days, because this is what I like to do when I don't know if I've shared this with you guys or not before, but what I like to do, is there's the initial inspiration that comes to me from being with the crystals, my first meeting with them or my first impressions of them. But then I like to stay with them for a bit. And I invite you guys to do that as well, because sometimes there's a lot more to come. And if we're quick to hold on to the first thing that the crystals share with us, we might not be so open to noticing what other gifts are and what other medicine there is. So I invite you, when you're working with the stone beings, to stay with them for a while. Days, weeks even. There are some crystals that I journey with for a whole year, or sometimes more. And there's consistent shifts and inspirations and insights and wisdoms that I receive from them over that period of time. So I had this crystal with me for a while, and I woke up the other day and I had this. I've been dealing with some drama in one of the groups that I host, and the other day I had this feeling come over me about it. It was, that feeling when you're in this energy or situation where you just get this like sinking feeling. It's an uncomfortable feeling. I don't know if there's one right word to describe it. You could call it sadness, you could call it unease, you could call it, it's easier if I say that there's like a sinking in your body, like a sinking feeling. Something that's not quite right, that's not sitting right in your body. And you don't quite know yet. You can't quite articulate, the words and the understanding are not quite there yet. You're just at the first primal experience of it, where it's just starting to form in your body. So I had that come up in a group setting, and I just knew that there was something not quite right and something needed to shift, because the situation as it was could no longer go on the way it was. the details are not important. It was just some drama. It wasn't, you know, the story doesn't matter so much. I mean, I could share the story with you, but it doesn't really matter much. And I just also want to honor the privacy of the other person. So I won't get into it, but it was like, it was that moment of, okay, this is not okay. This is not okay. And I need to figure out what to do about it. I need to I come up with a solution. And I wasn't even at that point. In that moment, I didn't even know as much as I'm telling you. I just had that feeling. It came up later when I woke up one morning and I realized, oh, okay, that's what that feeling was, that something needs to shift, and it can no longer, I don't want to be in that energy anymore. So I need to do something. And funny thing is, before even any of this stuff came up, I connected with one of my crystal blades. Oftentimes, let me show you. Oftentimes I will connect with a novaculite, and I hope that I'm honoring the crystal with its correct pronouncing of the name. And the name of this crystal is a whole other story, and if you're interested in knowing about more of the story of this crystal and its message and its song, there's lots of information on the website if you go in and search novaculite. And that's songofstones.com. So I connected with this crystal. This was in a very aware state where I knew that I wanted nothing but the best for this person, but I needed to disconnect from the energy that was coming in. So I connected with one of these stones and I cut away the strands and sent blessings and love to this person. So I did that, and that was a whole different time. And I didn't make the connection between that and these crystals and what came up that morning when I woke up with this thought that something's got to shift. And this was while I was having this beautiful connection with this crystal, and I learned that it was here to help us integrate stuff into our body. So I wasn't thinking that it was going to help me release stuff that I had, release an energy that I didn't want to be part of. But here it was, so, but where this crystal came in after the novaculite with the releasing was this crystal came in to show me a clear solution and what I needed to do, because the releasing of the strands and the cords, the ethereal cords, from this situation and this person and this energy it's a beautiful step, but they showed me that I could do more now. That now I could do more. That now I could have a solution for what I can do next. And that's where these crystals came in. I was shown very clearly what I needed to do. And as soon as I had that information, that sinking feeling was gone in an instant. Seconds. It's amazing. That was these guys here. So then I realized that they were showing me that, to share with you, that you can pair novaculite or any crystal blade. And when I talk about crystal blades, I'm talking about crystals with very sharp edges. Obsidian is a beautiful one because it's glass. It's volcanic glass. And glass, you know how sharp it is. It's a beautiful cutting tool. And by the way, just so you know, because I don't want to leave you with this information and without knowing how to do it, I did a whole video and I'm pretty sure I did a video. I did a whole blog post and I shared all how to cut the strands, even to the details of how to move your hands, and all that beautiful, wonderful information is on the website. So go and look for that if you don't know how to do that and you're wanting to know more details how to do it. Of course, you don't need it. You can just follow your instinct. You can just hold the crystal in your hand and let it guide you. But sometimes people want more. They want more details, more information, and that's great too. Okay, so this is the beautiful message that I got from these crystals. They are here to help us to gel into our bodies, into our lives, into our minds, whether we're learning new information or whether we're bringing in a new habit into our bodies or our lives, or whether we've had a spiritual shift that we want to hold on to. Because these spiritual shifts can be a little slippery if we experience it, but we don't integrate it into our lives and our bodies. So you can call on these guys to help you with that. You don't need them, of course. You know, like, we're capable of doing all this stuff without outside help, but you know, why not? If something can make it easier for us, if we can make it easier for us, and the crystals are brilliant and making life easier for us in so many ways. But why not? Why does it have to be hard? It doesn't have to be hard. Nobody said it has to be hard. Well, yeah, we say it has to be hard. We tell ourselves it has to be hard, but it doesn't have to be. That's just a story. Anyways, so I invite you guys to connect with these beautiful, yummy crystals. And warning, don't put them in your mouth. I wanted to put them in my mouth because they look so delicious. And then, of course, after all this stuff with candy and the gels and the jello and the wine gums, I was craving candy. My version of candy is dried mango. And I was eating a lot of dried mango to satisfy that craving. Because there is something delicious about that gumminess, the chewiness of this kind of candy that we're talking about. And I'm sure that, you know, bringing in that embodied experience through taste, through texture, through literally digesting it in my body, was helping me to physically and spiritually and energetically and emotionally and mentally digest what all was coming, so that I could now share it with you. And so that things could be easier for me as well. bonus. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to this, and I invite you to come on over to the website where I'll share a blog post about this. And also, I invite you to join us for our monthly crystal lives, where we learn how to connect more deeply with our crystals, and where we get to have the experience of receiving a message from our crystals, a personal message, which is always nice. It's nice to get the collective message, but it's also nice to get a personal one. And I take you through a very short guided meditation, and you can see how easy it is, speaking of easy, to connect with the message and the medicine of your crystal. And then I also will share a personal message with one person who is chosen at the live. And if you're part of our community, if you're part of our community, you'll get the invitations to the live. But you'll also get the extra things that come out once a week in the Sunday Sparkle. And today, I'm going to be sending out a message that came through from these crystals, just for people in the crystal live, in the crystal community through the Sunday Sparkle, which is coming out later today. And if you're watching this video at a later time, you sign up anyway, because there's always going to be new things. And I don't like to promise, because I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like we're going to be sharing much more, many more messages, direct messages from the crystals in those Sunday Sparkles. And they'll be directed to the community. So the crystals are speaking to us, and they're speaking to the people that are in the community. So the messages are going to be more relevant, I feel. All right. Thank you for listening, and I send you lots of love and many, many, many blessings. And remember, don't put these crystals in your mouth. Okay. Talk to you soon.